So just two stories. And I first want to thank Chuck Schumer for asking me to be part of this group really beginning last May. Two stories. I lived in a military dictatorship in Honduras in 1980 and 81, and nobody could vote for anything. And I had taken it for granted before then, but living there and seeing how much people wanted to be able to choose their own leaders, it made me think a lot about what a democracy is. And one of the real traits of a functioning democracy is the ability to correct mistakes. Because democracies aren't any more perfect than any other form of government. But what a democracy gives you is the ability to correct mistakes. Now, throughout our history, we've made a lot of mistakes. But one of the ways we've tried to protect against mistakes is broadening those who could participate. Before African Americans could vote, we did cruel institutions like slavery. Before women could vote, we did all kinds of things that were anti-women. Before young people could vote, we did things that weren't good for young people. Our nation has been on a path where as we've expanded the franchise and abilities of people to participate, we expand our ability to recognize a mistake and in the next election sweep folks out, put somebody new in who will do something right. In the aftermath of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, it was not only that African American turnout dramatically increased, but studies show that the number of African Americans who could run for office and get elected dramatically increased. And when that happened, African American communities that had suffered historic disinvestment, suddenly politicians had to pay attention to them. A functioning democracy gives you the ability to correct mistakes. Shrinking who can participate, putting burdens and obstacles in folks' way, it's not only harmful to those individuals whose rights are being taken away, but it dramatically weakens the ability of a functioning electorate to correct mistakes and change courses. And that is what's going on in these jurisdictions all over the country. The second story I want to tell you, and Angus alluded to it, is it looks like Leader Schumer, I know this is disappointing to you. We've tried every possible way we could to get Republicans on these bills. Just debate. We'll give you unlimited amendments. Make us a counteroffer. We've tried everything we can, and save for Lisa Murkowski being willing to vote on a motion to proceed to the Lewis bill, we can't get them. So that makes the other side say, see, this is a partisan effort. To the contrary, it's not partisan at all. The provisions of these bills are popular, but also just go to Virginia history. In November 2019, Democrats took both houses of the Virginia legislature. And one of the first things they did was dramatically expand the right of people to participate in Virginia elections. And we went from 45th in the nation in ease of voting to about 4th in the nation in 1 year. And we just had a governor's race. And the turnout increased 25% from the 2017 governor's race to 2021, and a Republican won. That was not my candidate. That was not my preferred outcome. But it was a win for small d democracy because having made it easier for people to participate, guess what they did? That was the second greatest jump in gubernatorial turnout in Virginia history. The first was between 1965 and 1969. When the turnout went up by 65%, and my father-in-law was elected governor, Linwood Holton. 65% increase in turnout between 1965 and 1969. Why? Because Congress passed the Voting Rights Act, and the Supreme Court in Harper versus Virginia in 1966 struck down use of poll taxes as a condition for state elections. So fancy that. You make it easier for people to vote, and you pull obstacles out of their way, and a whole lot more people vote, and guess what? It can be good for Republicans. And then maybe some elections it's not. It can be good for Democrats. Maybe some elections it's not, but it's good for democracy. And that's why we need to do this.
Thank you. Eloquent speeches. I'll start that way and work my way over.